The Permanent Building Society of Nelson was formed in 1862. At that time, the Nelson province had a population of around 12,000. Numbers had swelled with the arrival of settlers escaping the Taranaki land wars and the discovery of gold in Golden Bay and the Bulla. This contributed to the building shortage in the region, and the Building Society was formed to provide a means of funding for new home builders.
They must have been forward-thinking at that stage to have set this building society up. And of course, Nelson was one of the earliest of settlements.
5 years on, in 1867, the Building Society had grown to over 500 members.
By the time I joined the board after it was about 140 years old, it had probably got to about $45 million worth of assets on the balance sheet. So by hiring the right CEO, we decided to give him a brief of take a good look at this little place, get it into a growth path, and the man to do it was Ken Beams.
When I took it over, it was really just a small financial institution, but it had the potential. I had to get into the banking system. I then went to Westpac and bought a branch of Westpac. That enabled us to offer full banking facilities.
Over the span of 10 years from 2002, 6 new branches were opened around the South Island, including Motueka, Murchison, Westport, Greymouth, Takaka and Ashburton.
I joined NBS in December 2000. Ken employed me to work in the Richmond branch.
Ken and Tony really turned this place around and drove it. It had taken 140 odd years to get to 45 million.
Proudly, we really have built it up from the back of a gift shop, and now we sit around 1.1 billion. Yeah, that's a significant achievement.
The difference between NBS and the other financial institutions is simply we're a community banker.
What enables NBS to live their values is our mutuality. Proudly, we're owned by our clients. What we make for this business is reinvested into providing better products and technology, and also increasing our investment back into the community.
The very first impression I got of NBS was that it was like old school banking.
Like in the old days when you shook hands and you had to rely that each party would do their bit.
We believe you're not a number. We want that relationship with you. Nothing's changed.
Financing with cars is pretty crucial and is a huge part of our operation. So local business, locally owned, locally operated is really important, and the money staying in this community. They are really close values that NBS have also.
It's over 60 years ago, either late 1958 or the beginning of 1959. We thought we'd like to end up with a house. We were turned down in a number of other places until I came and saw the Nelson Building Society, so we're very grateful for the help.
None of the other banks can match what we've found here.
I used to bank with someone else, and you'd go in there and they would have no idea who you are, like no idea about anything about your life.
NBS is a community organisation. They listen to the needs of us and what we're doing. It was a very straightforward decision to select NBS as our banking provider.
One of the strengths of this region is the close connection between business and, call it, philanthropy.
We come to work every day to provide a banking service to our clients, but ultimately what we're doing is we're here to make a profit to give back to the community.
We look after about 20,000 dying Kiwis a year across the country. The difference between the funding we get from Te Whatu Ora, Health New Zealand, and what the service costs, we can only do with the support of organisations like NBS.
I think NBS is only scratching the surface. Reaching that $1 million back to our community last year was a great achievement.
And there's no other business around this region that is giving that level of funding back.
They're always there to help. Whenever I have a question, I'll just email them or ring them and they'll have the answer for me straight away.
The model of true relationship banking is one for the future.
You know, we've 160 years of proud history. And for a financial institution in New Zealand, that is quite significant.
I think we should all have an enormous amount of pride for what we have achieved and what's around the corner.
Like all organisations, we're only as good as the people we have. Over the years, NBS has developed incredibly well. I'm very proud of the results we've achieved, and I think the quality of this organisation is fantastic.
We're always looking forward. What do we need to be doing? How are we going to do it? Why are we doing it?
For NBS to continue on, all they got to do is continue to do what they do. They will continue to grow.
The contribution that you make in working for NBS and then what NBS can do for the community is very significant.
NBS 160 years, you're all playing a part. Everyone here is playing a part. It has been an absolute privilege to be a part of the journey, and the success that we are today is down to what you contribute.